Okay, ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, because this footage is real. It says so on the box. Therefore, it must be true. And let me tell you, I've watched this, and I can confirm that this footage is in fact real. They genuinely have filmed some footage, put it on a DVD, therefore it exists. Hence being, it's real. So you get what I'm saying there? I'm talking about the Amityville Haunting, a quality found footage film based on the Amityville hauntings. Now, if the Amityville name sounds familiar with you, you probably have heard it before. It was apparently a real case a good many years ago, and there have been a variety of films based on it. There was a kind of original series that I think were the late 70s, sort of early 80s, something like that. And the first movie was apparently the genuine story, and there's been a variety of kind of sequels and spin-offs and kind of unofficial sort of cash-ins as well. I reviewed one called The Amityville Asylum, which was a British film pretending to be in America. And this one is kind of like that. It's a very, very cheap found footage film, and it concerns a family who move into the Amityville house that they can only buy because it's very cheap because of obviously all its kind of backstory. And one of the things I did like about this film is it actually does reference the fact that, you know, there's been films made about this property. I have to say, I would have thought they would have driven the price up, if anything, but there you go. But you know, so they kind of do that, which is quite good. And they kind of mention the fact that there's been a film and the history with the house, which was probably one of the few positive things about this film. And they basically go into this house, and obviously, as you'd expect, strange things start to happen. You've got the kind of the two sort of parents. The husband, I guess, is meant to be some kind of military background, and you've got like a teenage sort of bitchy daughter who's constantly on her phone and trying to sort of sneak out and things. You've kind of got the young or the kind of middle son who is always kind of videoing. And we generally see stuff from his perspective because he's got this video camera, although there's plenty of, they end up halfway through the film getting security cameras, so we do see some footage from the sort of static cameras in the kind of corners of the room, things like that. And then we have the young daughter who is, I guess, the most susceptible to these kind of phenomena, and basically is kind of talking to this spirit all the time. So, you know, strange things start to happen, people die. There's actually a relatively big body count in this film, which I found odd because we barely see any police. There's quite a lot of people get killed. The majority of them are kind of peripheral characters, like the kind of one of the sort of moving men, things like that. But no police ever seem to investigate it. The police show up one time in the film, but not for anything else, which was kind of fun, really. And there's not a lot happens in this film. It's kind of until the end, really. There's not a great deal that really happens. So unfortunately, it's quite a boring film in many aspects. So, what's it like? Well, as you can probably guess, it's not a particularly great film. This is a low-budget film, so let's take it piece by piece. I've mentioned it's boring film. There's not a lot happens in here, unfortunately. All the film really consists of is his family kind of wandering around this house, and kind of once or twice we'll see this kind of strange figure kind of lurking in the background, and that's pretty much it. The effects are really just a guy in makeup who's kind of standing in the corner, and then we'll see some static shots and kind of like strange noises and things like that, and sort of interference, and that's pretty much all you're going to get in regards to special effects. There are a couple of occasions where the figure kind of looks sort of video spiritual, if that makes sense, but not much in the way of special effects. Acting wise, again, it's all very sort of B-movie acting, and unfortunately I guess the main character is the father, and he really overacts. There's a kind of a period of time in towards the end of the movie where he's kind of breaking down, and he just looks like a complete idiot. I mean, we're meant to believe he's having a sort of serious mental breakdown, but he just comes across as what a dickhead. So it's quite funny to watch, to be honest with you. It's so stupid. Not a lot to really recommend this film. There is a relatively high body count. It's not a particularly gory film. The worst thing about this, I suppose, is not scary. It's not scary at all. I mean, sometimes these cheap films can still get you with a few scares, but really it isn't. I mean, look at the cover here. This looks like quite a good film if you're judging by the cover and the kind of spirit on the front. Then, it's quite good. It's good perspective. It ain't in there. It's not in there, this film. So, don't be fooled by the cover. It's a very cheap film. It ain't real. So, don't worry about that. Sorry to burst your bubble there if you thought it was. But overall, it's kind of a bit of a poor effect. It reminds me a little bit of the Bell Witch Haunting, which was an Asylum release. It kind of has that sort of feel to it, and I've reviewed that, and if you've seen that film, you'll kind of get an idea what this one's like, or vice versa. But overall, it's completely forgettable. Unfortunately, it's one of these very kind of cheap cash-in found footage films that are just trying to sort of get people with a name, very much like the Amityville Asylum, unfortunately. So don't see it unless you are just a sucker for bad movies, and not bad movies where they're fun. So I'm going to give this movie a 2.5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it?